Blog Talk Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fact that you are tuned in to the Blitz Hardcore Podcast means that you're awesome! You have found the right show if you are looking for an alternative to ESPN and their hot garbage. Thank you for listening to the show. Let's get ready for the podcast!
You can't stop us. The show goes on. You can't stop us. The show goes on.
Forget the media, sports, encyclopedias, Blitz got what you need when you're fiending for what we feeding you. Non-stop NBA, boxing knowledge up to date. Tell them other shows they won't last when the Blitz Hardcore Podcast is broadcasted across the states. All them haters too late, too long, leave them alone. You want the truth, then you're right at home. Where the debates never stop and the show goes on. Some say we're bound to make epic history, similar to Michael Jordan and Muhammad Ali. The show floats like a butterfly, sings like a killer bee. We bringing that intensity, get ready for what's about to be a takeover, bitch, the breakthrough. Shit, we just getting started, them losers apart, them other stations and guards. They know they need us regardless. And stop acting like you don't know, we go the hardest.
You can't stop us. The show goes on. You can't stop us.
Okay, what's up, Justin?
What's up, man?
And then, what's up, Jeff?
What's up, bro?
All right, guys. Looking forward to doing this interview. I got some good questions for Mitch about his era, and definitely going to be a source for information on that era for the youngsters out there that listen to the show that may not know the differences in the game. There's been quite a few. Justin, hearkening back to the old days of the Bulls and the Kings, boy, he used to come right at MJ, gave MJ some good games. He even outperformed Michael Jordan in a few games. If you take yourself back in time, there were a few games where Mitch Richmond outperformed Michael Jordan. How many people would know that, Justin?
Not a lot of people, including me.
Yeah.
So,
well,
I need to do my homework. So.
Yeah, there was a handful of games. He had some good games with Clyde Drexler, but consistently outperformed Reggie Miller. And I think that's something that a lot of people would find to be surprising, because when you talk about the great two guards of that era, just one second. When you talk about the great two guards of that era, you always hear Jordan, Drexler, Miller, right?
Always the big time guys.
And he was a big-time guy, and that's part of the problem, is he's never gotten the respect he deserves. I mean, he was shafted in all-star selections. He was shafted on all-NBA team selections. He was shafted on defensive team selections. Just a phenomenal player, good defender. There's one interview where Phil Jackson says he thought that Mitch Richmond was as good defensively as Michael. What's up, Vegas, Mike?
What up?
Okay. Definitely one of those guys you look at as one of the best shooters of all time as well. He'll be here shortly. I'm very excited to do this interview. Mitch Richmond is one of those guys that I've always looked at. Okay, so that's Sopa. All right. He's a guy I've always looked at as one of the players, when I look back at some of the epic matchups Jordan had, one of the guys who consistently brought the best out of Michael, because that's the type of player he was. Let me see. Is this Sopa right here? Okay, it's the other one. Sopa, can you hear me?
Bruce, can you hear me?
Yeah,
buddy.
We can hear you now. But yeah, I can't say enough. I've also been in talks with Clyde Drexler's people to get him on as well. And one of the few times I actually feel a little bit nervous coming on the show. I never really feel nervous, but I've got a nice little list of questions I'm looking forward to asking Mitch. And he's put out some tweets on Twitter where he obviously looks at the rules changes as being a big difference in the NBA. And he says, here's one of Mitch Richmond's tweets right here. He says, that's a great point, because I had said something to him about the rule changes. He says that he tells people all the time that's the only way he could try and guard Jordan, and he was averaging 38. So very interesting. Looking forward to getting into that aspect of the era as well. But maybe some things about Mitch you guys don't know that I'm going to ask him. And now, Brian, let's try you again. Brian?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm on your alternative number here.
Yeah, this is.
That seems to be working better.
What's up, Rob?
But
So,
there's been a lot of rumors about Mitch Richmond coming in as an assistant to Kansas State, possibly coaching the team. Of course, that's where he played ball in college. I guess we'll let those rumors play out, I'm sure. Until something's official, he might not really want to allude to anything.
hey,
But,
Bruce.
yeah. Mitch, is that you?
Well, yeah, that's me.
Hey, Mitch, welcome to the show.
All right, thanks for
Got
having
a few guys on the line, but I want to do this the right way. I want to welcome a bronze and gold medalist, Rookie of the Year, 6-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA team member. My opinion, Mitch, one of the most underrated players of all time. I think you got shafted on defensive teams, All-NBA team selections, and All-Star selections, but thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Let's start this out the right way. Do you have anything you want to plug? I know you got a Bluetooth thing out there, and maybe your Twitter.
I'm coming out with some headphones. They're Bluetooth. Some of them are truly different. One with a SD card where you download all your music to an SD card. You slide in the slot on the side of your headphone, and then you don't need a wire, so it's wireless, and you can work out, do anything you want to do without it clogging or getting in your way, or pulling out the plug or anything. And then I also have wires too, so that you can actually connect to your device. So that's what I've been working on the last year and a half.
So, do you have any of these products out there? And if so, where can these folks go to find them?
Stores. They will be in stores soon, and I will be actually putting them on my Twitter, just kind of showing some pictures of them, stuff like that, and putting them on the website. The website is almost finished, so just been finishing up on that. And
his Twitter, folks, if you'd be kind enough to follow him, it's at Mitch Richmond 23. So let's get into this. You were good at driving to the hoop, getting to the line. You had all the superstar abilities. We saw you go head-to-head with Michael, Clyde, Reggie, got the best of them in many different games. But how would your skill set relate to today's game with the no-hand checking rule that really went into effect in 2004, right, and then, of course, defensive 3 seconds?
No, I mean, I think any player that played in the era where we had hand checking and had the ability to score a lot of points, like a Michael, a Clyde, and some of the other great scorers in that game or in that era, I think if they feel like if they didn't have hand checking and guys wasn't checking on them, they feel like they could probably score more points than they did back then. That's the only way I could guard Michael Jordan was to put my hands on him and try to grab him and hold him and try to stay connected to him because he was so quick. And, just think about playing a guy like that who was cat quick, who knew every trick in the book, who had a mean fadeaway jump shot, had a great driving game. Just imagine him without the hand checking rules. It would be pretty unstoppable to guard, especially in the low post when the guy faces you from 5 feet away and you can't put your hand on him.
Yeah, and that's one thing I've been trying to tell folks is that it doesn't just affect the driving to the game.
Right.
It also affects being able to face up and shoot a jumper because you had to turn your back on guys defending you back in the day, right?
Oh yeah. Now you see guys. That it's a rule where you can turn your back and you can. Right now and today, you can put a hand on them, but once they face you, you have to put your hand off of him. So that is, just think, Kobe actually started in the era where you can have the hand checking, and then they changed the rules, and and a guy like Kobe who has every move in the book, who actually studies the game, and now who has just went from one era to the next. I think it definitely helped him to do what he's been doing in the league with guys not knowing how to guard him, and with him having the ability to play in the area where you had to have hand checking.
Oh gosh, I can't. You were a great shooter. I can't imagine you facing up and then seeing the defender take his hand off you. That would have been hunting season. But now, to be fair,
yeah,
Phil Jackson. I got a friend on YouTube who put up a video. Well, I'm from Chicago. I actually remember the interview where Phil said that he thought you were on Michael's level defensively in the late 90s.
Right.
How would that affect you defensively, though, not being able to hand check now?
Well, just like I've said, it definitely would affect me hand checking because I was at the time I weighed more than the two guards. I was a little bigger than most of the two guards. And so I had to, try to put my will on them as far as putting my body on them at all times. So, yeah, I think it would affect me on both ends of the court. But I just like any other player, you truly have to adjust. But I think in this time in this game, I love the players. I think it's great watching. I watch all the games. I try to watch most games as I can, and I just love watching the game. Still see some players that I played against still in the league, and it's great watching, really.
Okay. Now here's an interesting question. Considering the 3-second defensive rule that was implemented during this era, in combination with the flagrant fouls, the big men are not camping out under the basket with that license to kick your butt. But during your era, who was the big man that hit you the hardest?
Well, I mean, I think it was not just a big man. I think it was teams back then. You used to go with the Detroit Pistons. Every guy on that team would hit you. And I think if you look at some of the videos of when they were called the bad boys, I mean, they didn't allow layups. And then you want to talk about the New York Knicks. When they had Oakley and Mason and Patrick and who was that? Not Ron Harper, but my fellow Floridian who played with Dallas, the point guard. What was his name? Can't remember. Boy, point guard, real good point guard.
Mark Jackson?
No.
No, not Greg Anthony. He was UNLV.
Name just slipped me.
John Starks, Gerald Wilkins.
No. He played with Rolando Blackman. It was who was the guard played with Rolando Blackman, the point guard.
You got me on that one.
Oh man.
Derek Harper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So you had him, and you had a team that didn't allow layups, and Portland team was a physical team out west. So it was so many teams, and everyone kind of implemented a guy or a bruiser that will take you down at any time, and didn't allow layups. And so it was teams' philosophy of not giving up layups.
Yes, under Pat Riley, of course.
Yes, no doubt about it.
Okay, I got to ask. You brought him up. What was it like? Because I asked Brian Russell this question, and his answer was the first thing he thought was he was glad he could hand check. But I got to ask, what was it like going against Michael Jordan, and what's your most fond memory of playing against Michael?
Well, you knew you definitely had to make him work on. I always tried to match his intensity. The guy was going to come out and play every game and every minute, and he was going to challenge you on the defensive end and the offensive end. So I always tried to make sure that I tried to make him work on the defensive end also. when I was playing offense, and I knew he was going to make it hard for me to try to score, and just like I approached every game, I wanted to try to shut my guy down, but that's difficult in the game. But you try to limit some of the good looks that he can get. So I just tried to make every game and every shot, and try to defend him and try to make him work, and because I knew he was going to make me work on the other end. And you just had to make sure that you got your rest and you was prepared to be in for a battle that game. So it was great playing against him because it brought out the best in you, and you know you had to be on your P's and Q's.
Okay. Other than Michael, who were the other two guards from your area that you looked forward to playing the most and gave you the biggest challenge?
Well, it was so many guards, I think, back then. I mean, I think, you look at a guy like a Clyde Drexler. Hey, guys, I'm on the radio. Hey, I'm on the radio. I can't hear. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, I think it was guys like Clyde Drexler, who was 6'7" at the two-guard spot. Me and Clyde at the time, we always had great battles. We never said one thing to one another, but we just, tried to be as physical as possible. You had Rolando Blackman way back when. You had Alvin Robinson. You had the Joe Dumars. You had Ron Harper when he was at his best in Cleveland. You had Jeff Malone down in Washington when he was at the end of his career, but he was still a tremendous scorer. I could go. You had Ricky Pierce coming off the bench for the Milwaukee Bucks. That was a handful. The guy just knew how to put the ball in the hole, and it was so many guards. Dan Marley, who came in my era, was a tough match. It was so many guys that you could name. Reggie Miller, who never put the ball on the floor, but you knew he was coming off screen. So I just think every night, I had my hands full of going up against some great players.
Perfect segue.
Yeah.
Because, there were great catch-and-shoot players like Alex English and, of course, Reggie Miller, who you just brought up. Now, you had games where you held him to 6 of 14, 6 of 16, a couple where you held him 4 of 12, 3 of 11, 5 of 14. Now, what was your mindset going into a game where you had to defend such a great and active off-the-ball player like Reggie?
Well, you had to really slip and slide because the big guys was always looking to headhunt you, and Reggie was always good at taking you one way and going back the other. So I always had to be elusive, always had to be tried to be as close as possible. So when Reggie moved, I moved. I never wanted to try to be maybe 2 steps behind you, just too late. He was just such a great catch-and-shoot guy. If you wasn't right there connected to him, he would take that shot time he caught it. He would feel you not being there. So I always tried to stay connected and try to, make little sounds and let him know I'm right there. And it was tough guarding him because that he was going to work you, and that was their philosophy to make me go off a lot of screens so I can get tired on the offensive end. So it was definitely a tough challenge to get him off the screen because he never really and truly posts. Every once in a while, late in his career, he started posting. And another guy like that was Dale Ellis, the same way. Never really, put the ball on the floor, but he posted a little bit.
Oh, man, Dale Ellis was a nasty shooter. Now, you had a lot of games where you outplayed Drexler and Miller in your one-on-one matchup, but a lot of times your teams wouldn't come away with the W.
Right.
Did that ever become frustrating to know you were winning your individual matchup, but your team wasn't getting the W?
Man, it was always frustrating to lose. And, I came from high school to I started playing basketball in the 10th grade, and ever since I started playing, I had one bad year, was my sophomore year. And ever since then, I always had winning records wherever I've been. And so just to go to Sacramento and have a losing record and everyone, not really focusing on, the Sacramento Kings. I mean, we were a young team, and we really wasn't ready to kind of compete against some of these guys because back when I came in, we were playing against grown men, and you come in with a young team. you better have some continuity and some ability to play together, because if you didn't, these guys have been playing together 3 or 4 years and really truly knew how to get over on a young player. So we were playing against grown men, and you come with a young team that's not really capable of really kind of be mentally, then you kind of fall through the cracks. And I think that's what I did in Sacramento. We just was going up against grown teams, and the Detroit Pistons, the Portland Trailblazers, the Indiana Pacers, who had been together so many years, the Chicago Bulls. It was so many teams that had gelled and been together for 3 or 4 years. So it was really tough trying to get wins on them guys. But, yeah, it was frustrating. So I'm sorry I'm taking so long. I'm long-winded, but I had to play a game within the game. So I always tried not to look at the score. Always tried to compete every night. Tried to compete on both ends of the defensive end and offensive end, and then let it lay where it may, because it really was a truly a tough time coming down the short end of the stick all the time.
Okay. This is a hardball question.
Okay.
In your prime,
right,
under the old school rules,
yes,
do you think you would beat Kobe Bryant or Dwayne Wade in a game of one-on-one? I think you would. But do you think you would?
I am really confident in my ability, and I felt like, I would have took on any of those guys, no doubt about it.
Love the answer. Okay, as a basketball player, what was a more fond memory? Winning the gold medal in '96,
right,
or dribbling out the clock in the 2002 finals to get that ever-elusive ring?
Well, I think I had so many great memories. Just being on the Olympic team in '88 and getting the bronze medal.
Bronze medal, yeah.
Yeah, never thought, and just playing for your country and you wearing the USA, jersey across your chest, and not coming up with the gold medal was probably one of the most devastating thing in my career. And then having the opportunity, never thought that you would get back and play for the Olympic team. And having the opportunity to get back in '96 and redeem myself and get a gold medal, I think that was one of probably the fondest memories I have playing for this country, having the USA on your chest, having the whole country backing you, and going up against some of the countries and making a lot of friends in other countries. Sharunas Marciulionis was a good, he still is a good friend of mine. And he beat us in the '88 Olympics, and we became really close. And we have memories and talk about the times, and it just was a fun time to be in the Olympic Village and meet so many different people from all walks of life.
Okay, and I've got one more question for you.
Okay, go ahead.
If you had, now this is a cliche question, but I'm really curious.
Okay.
If you had to go back and do anything different, would you?
Yeah. If I had to go back and do anything different, would I have? I've always said I live and I learn, and I never try to go back and try to correct something because it's who I am. So I don't think I would. I just think I would. If I had to do it all over again, I'd do it the same way. And I don't think anything. I think I've did what I had to do. I had a great career. I still enjoy the game. I have some great memories and have some fun times. And what you take away from this game are the memories, are the friendships. And over the years, I've had some great friendships, and I still have some great friendships with guys that I play with, and also some guys that still play. So I'm truly blessed, and I had a blessed life. I can't complain.
And you've got a lot of hardcore fans who know how good you were. So,
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
You want to take a couple quick?
Way back when we didn't get on TV a lot, so people always ask me. Some people really don't recognize when they see me out, but if I say my name, then they say, "Yeah, I remember you," but I couldn't. You played so late. Sometimes I didn't get a chance to see you.
I was going to actually bring that up too, because back when you were on the Warriors, you got some exposure. You had the Run TMC thing,
right?
But in Sacramento, when you were just getting double and triple teamed every night. here in Chicago, we saw you when you played the Bulls.
Right.
We didn't have a league pass back then.
Exactly. That's true.
But all right, you want to take a couple quick rapid fire questions from callers?
Sure.
All right, guys, be quick. We want to get them out of here. So let's start with Brian. Brian, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead and ask Mitch a quick question.
How you doing, Mitch? Hi, I'm good. Here's one question I have for you. Back in the day, back in your era, who was the player when you had the ball on offense, whether it be off the ball or on ball, who was the player that you was matching up with that gave you the hardest time to score the ball?
Well, I mean, people always, say about Michael Jordan giving him a hard time because he had the ball in his hands, but Michael was a great defender. So at all times, when I had the ball, there was a couple guys that, I had to really and truly be aware of. Michael was one of them because he likes to guard the passing lanes. And then when you squared him up, he was really good with his hands and quick. He was really long. So he was one of the guys. Alvin Robertson was another guy that was a tremendous defender. He was always up in your chest. You really had to be smart in how you wanted to score the basketball. You had to be precise. Dumars was another one because he wasn't that big. But when he used to guard me, I never could find him, and then I looked down and he's like below my hips. Like, God, there he is. So I could get my shot off on him, but he always was a guy that kind of try to bother you with your legs, try to get you off balance, try to push you, try to jab at you, and so many things like that. And Dan Marley was another guy because Dan Marley kind of was like a similar body type, so we went at each other a lot. But it was a couple guys, and I would say probably those main guys who probably gave me the most trouble.
All right, let's move on to the next guy. That would be Aldo. Aldo, go ahead.
How's it going, Mitch? Nice to meet you, man. Tremendous honor to speak to, in my mind, definitely a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Oh, man, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
If there's to be a player that you played against that you would actually say that you want to have him as your teammate,
right,
out of players that are currently playing or players that you looked up to, or even players that you even played against, who would it be? Who, in your eyes, would be your dream teammate, so to speak?
Man, my dream teammate to play against or to play with. Man, it was so many good guys out there. Dream teammate would probably have to be, maybe someone like Olajuwon.
Yes.
A guy that, I played against Shaq at the end of my career. I played with Shaq at the end of my career, but a guy like that who you knew was going to give you either a foul or a bucket down the stretch, and it would probably made my game a lot more easier, would probably be a guy like Olajuwon, who, a tremendous shot blocker, tremendous post guy, and not a bad passer. Yeah, but it was so many other guys that you could name, but I think, that's one of the guys that, I would probably love. And then Magic, because he passed the ball, so I would love to play with Magic, and because he would have set me up a lot.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, Mitch, living here in Chicago, Michael Jordan, everything he says is put out in the media. He actually picked Hakeem as well.
Right. Really?
Yep.
Wow.
I was surprised he put that out there. He's so reserved. All right, Vegas Mike, quickly, you got a question for Mitch?
Okay.
Oh, yeah. How you doing, man?
Hey, how you doing, bro?
I'm good.
Good.
All right. You've heard players from your era, like Scottie Pippen and Dominique Wilkins, and
right.
Even you've heard Michael Jordan himself say that if they played in this era because of the no hand checking, not only that, you had guys who chucked you and
right.
And rapping without the ball, and then you got guys like Dikembe Mutombo, Shaq, and David Robertson, Patrick Ewing camping out in the lane, pretty much throwing you down because they could. I mean, how would you think? How would your numbers? Do you think your numbers would increase significantly in this era?
I truly think so. I think my numbers would increase, and I think Michael's numbers definitely would increase. I think a lot of guys like a Clyde Drexler would increase. You know, and I say this because I think back then, I think a lot of teams tried to take your tendencies away. I don't see that in the game. I don't see guys in the game these days are really and truly studying the film, studying their opponent, and trying to take something away from them. You know, I see a guy, I mean, definitely they got great players. I mean, we got great players in our game today. But, okay.
Hold on there, Mitch. Let me take care of that. All right. That was Mike there. Go ahead, Mitch.
Okay, yeah. I just think, you know, you see it time and time again where you see a guy let a guy go left, and not really and truly try to stop him and do something different. I think back then that we really and truly tried to study a guy, try to make him do something different. But I think right now everyone is just trying to use their athletic ability and trying to stop a guy, let him do what he want to do, and still try to stop him. When these guys are great players and you practice one move, if you let me go that way, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to make that shot. You know
the amazing thing is that I always tell people,
mm-hmm.
When the rules changes went into full effect, there were 11 perimeter players that scored 24 or more that year,
right.
And Steve Nash became a 2-time MVP. So, not taking nothing away from him.
No,
right,
you can't take nothing away from him, but you even think about it. Even when the hand checks, I mean, when the young players came and we had hand checks, we had to change those rules because the scoring was down. I mean, 20,000 points was hard to come by. Scoring 20,000 points was very difficult to score by. Now you probably got 7 or 8 guys in this game alone right now got 20,000 points. You know, just think about that. You know,
and it's going to keep growing, Mitch.
Turk is at 20. You know, I don't know how many Vince Carter has, but you got 3 guys on Boston at 20,000 points, I think. You have a lot of guys in the game, probably about 10 guys in the game that's at 20,000 points, and 20,000 points was hard to come by.
Right, and in fact, I've got the list right here. We got Kobe, KG, Dirk, Ray Allen, Tim Duncan, Paul Pierce. Vince is over 20,000, so good call.
Yeah.
Let's squeeze one more call, and we're going to let Mitch run. Justin, quickly.
Go to the next person.
Okay. All right. He's an honest man. All right. You know what? We'll cut it off there, Mitch. You've been judicious with your time.
Appreciate it.
You know what? I'd like to get you and Brian Russell on and maybe Clyde and have a round table one night. So that'd be pretty sweet. I've been in touch with Clyde's people too. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, me and Clyde hated. That'd be great because me and Clyde just actually went to. We were in Macau together. Probably about a month and a half ago, and we just started reminiscing about the times that we really matched up one another. And I told Clyde, everybody on my team, I hated Clyde. I did not like Clyde because it was. I remember my rookie year. We were playing Clyde Drexler in Portland, and we were on the defensive end, and his guy shot the ball, and I was kind of like boxing him out, and he hit me with a bow in the back of my back. I mean, in my back so hard. I mean, I was so mad. So when we got the rebound and went down the other way, I didn't even run a play. I ran straight down and just tried to hit Clyde. And when I hit him, he told me, yo, you better watch your bows. And from that day on, we always had a battle throughout his career and my career that we didn't talk. We just really tried to win at each other. And we kind of made up in Macau. And I told him I loved him, man, but I hated him.
Yeah, you bring up elbows. Karl Malone, Bill Cartwright. But
yeah.
a guy in the chat room, he wants me to ask you Kobe or MJ. I don't even think it should be asked, but
oh man,
go ahead.
I had an opportunity to play. I had an opportunity to play against both. Kobe is definitely going to go down as one of the best two guards to ever play this game. The guy has a work ethic. He studies the game. He does all of those things or intangibles that you want in a player. He's intense. He's all of that. But I think so many people forget how great Mike was. And that guy was, I guarded both. And Mike was just, he was hard to guard. I mean, Kobe was a hard guard too, but nothing like Mike. I mean, I don't know. The guy averaged, I think one year he was averaging almost 40 points a game. I think he was at 38 something. And and they said, well, Kobe scored 81 points. I said, well, sometimes Mike had 46 and didn't play the third or fourth quarter. You got to remember, Phil sat him down a lot. He let some of the young players play. When they won that 72, or they had 72 wins that year, they played half. They didn't play games. They were blowing people out by halftime, and they just kind of coasted in the second half. So, but they definitely, Kobe would probably be the number two behind Michael. That's how they're gonna grade the guys. But people always ask that question. They're two great players, but I played in the era where Michael was at the top, and I played when Kobe was at his top, and Michael hands down.
I hate asking. I'd rather keep the interview about you, but they were.
Oh no,
me.
That's okay. I get that question all the time too, because I am a two guard and I had the opportunity to play against both. But I'm telling you, I love Kobe's game. I love everything about what he represents. But the guy Michael, you got to understand, he was I think for a career, he was a 50% field goal percentage player.
Yep.
And that was in a time where it was hand checking and Detroit was beating you up every game. So you guys got to take into the consideration of that. When he shot a lot. He shot a lot like Kobe, but when he shot, he made 50% of his shots, maybe sometimes 52.
I would even argue, he had 2 years right at 54%, but I would argue that Jordan, when he hit the scene here in Chicago, I'm 36, so I got to watch his whole career. Right. And I watched Kobe a lot too, and it seems like he took his shots more in the flow of the offense. Yeah. So, well, anyway, all right, Mitch, that was awesome.
All right.
Hope we can have you back here sometime soon. Problem. And you just made a lot of people's nights. Believe me, they're like, "Oh, Mitch Richmond."
I just want to thank people for coming on, man, and just kind of coming on and joining me and asking me the questions, man. I haven't been on actually a blog like this, so this is my first blog, so I really enjoy it.
Oh, good luck with some of the future ones. I've heard them, but all right. Thanks, Mitch. I'm gonna get people to follow your Twitter and hopefully buy some Bluetooth earpieces here.
Oh yeah. Well, so the company is MR2, and I got a couple names. One is Rock Hybrid, Rock Sport, Rock Pro, Rock Steady. So those will be the names of the headphones and actually earbuds too. So just be looking for them, and they'll be coming soon. And my website is mr2audio.com, and that's going to be up and running soon. They got a couple things up there right now, but they're building it as we go.
Sweet.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks again, Mitch. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Well, there you have it. Mitch Richmond, one of the great NBA players of all time. Brian, that was cool.
Yeah, that was, man. that was an awesome segment, man. Oh man.
All right, everyone, if you don't have a Twitter, I got to get this out there, Brian, for the live and archive listeners. If you don't have a Twitter, get one and follow Mitch Richmond 23. That's twitter.com/Mitch Richmond 23. I'm gonna put it up on my Twitter. That was pretty epic, guys. So what were you gonna say, Brian?
Oh, I was gonna say there was one question we didn't ask him was what player that of today's era reminded of him, from back then.
I was thinking about that the other day. I don't think there is one, Brian.
There ain't. I mean, because nobody played the level of defense that they played. Like, I mean, the combination of his ability to drive, slash to the bucket, the ability to shoot the ball, as well as play very good defense. I mean, at the same level as all three of those aspects at the same level in a two guard. There's no two guard in the league right now like that, and with the same amount of skill sets that he has. I mean, Kobe in his prime maybe, but that's
Kobe's never been the shooter that Mitch Richmond was.
Oh, well, not the shooter, but like maybe just the only comparison though, like the only legit comparison. But yeah.
If Melo was a more efficient player, maybe. But he's not, and he doesn't play defense like Mitch Richmond. That's why I'm saying he's not a guy.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Mike, Justin, Brian, Jeff, Ryan. Jeff and Ryan, I'm sorry, I was pushing the limits with the time there, guys.
No, it's cool.
And I know Ryan, Cowboy Ryan, you came on at the end of it there. Do you know who we were talking to, Ryan?
Yeah, I know who you guys were. I was mad because everybody took all the good questions.
Oh, crap, man. I came right at the end. That's why I was like, damn, man.
Did you guys just see what Kendrick Perkins did to Kobe?
Yeah.
He's sending a signal there. Anyway, I mean, basically, the amazing thing is, guys, a lot of the things that Mitch was talking about, where have you heard that before?
Oh.
No.
You're talking to him.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying, when you actually watched as much basketball as I did back in the day, now nothing can replace the experience of actually being on the court, but if you're astute and you were really paying close attention, you already knew everything that Mitch was talking about he had to go through. And that guy right there, Mitch Richmond, man, I mean, deadly outside jumper.
Good pass.
Deadly outside jump shot. He was just phenomenal. You guys think Dwayne Wade was good at getting to the free throw line? Mitch did it in a way that wasn't cheap. I mean, he knew how to get to the line, and he was very good at getting to the basket. But when he was in Sacramento, I remember them coming to play the Bulls and watching the Bulls defense double and triple team. And he had multiple games with like 33 points and just, the guy was ridiculous. That's crazy. And I always look at him, to me, he's in that class with like Dominique Wilkins as being super underrated. Because people talk about that era and they go, oh yeah, Michael, Magic, Larry, and then they stop. Or they'll bring up Reggie Miller before they bring up Mitch Richmond. It's like, no, Mitch Richmond used to consistently outplay Reggie Miller.
He did, but I mean, with Reggie Miller, everybody remembers, him known for his clutch at threes and all of that, and he had memorable games, with him and the Knicks and all that, and him just, raising his level. I don't know if so. I don't know if that Mitch is better. I mean, I think Mitch and Reggie, they're really close, but
Mitch was better. He was a better basketball player, and he was a better defender.
Yeah,
he was. I mean, if you guys really want me to, you can hit me up on Twitter, twitter.com/Bruce Blitz, and I'll give you a link to the video of Phil Jackson in 1997 saying that. He thought that Mitch Richmond was as good as Jordan defensively. This is in the late 90s.
Wow. Yeah, he is a better defender, no doubt.
So, I mean, we're talking about Mitch Richmond being on Jordan's level as a defender. Hello, that's Phil Jackson.
Whoa.
Brian,
not too many people.
Brian, can you hear us? No, that must be his cell phone. He'll call back on the secondary phone.
watch.
Vegas Mike, what did you take away from that?
Man, I mean, pretty much him telling us about how his experience was as a player. I mean, it was really enlightening because, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that pretty much we've seen from the era and from Mitch Richmond himself. I mean, what he did with the Kings. I mean, getting triple teamed and double teamed because there was really no other secondary option that other teams really respected. I mean, for him to do the things he did, I mean, I just don't understand why people don't. I mean, it even happened when he was playing. I mean, I just don't understand why not more people respected him when he played.
You know what? I always did. And I know that because here's the thing. With Michael was dominant, you know, and he was just indomitable. And you would see him run into guys who would do a good job defensively, and then the team would load up on him, and they'd whack him around and stuff. But Mitch Richmond was one of those guys where it's like, you know, I'd actually like to see these two on a court playing one-on-one on blacktop. That's what it felt like. And when Dale Ellis hit the league, he brought up Dale Ellis and how hard he was to defend. Well, when Dale Ellis hit the league, I'm like, wow, here's a guy who can slash to the basket. He's got catch-and-shoot game. He can shoot over the top of defenders. This guy's going to be a problem. Maybe it will be the rival. Well, no one in history on the perimeter would have been his rival, Michaels. But when Dale Ellis started to fall apart because of injuries and other things, you were kind of looking around like, okay, here's Glenn Rice, you know, or Reggie, yeah, you know, you had Clyde. But then Mitch Richmond, you know, really started to develop his game more and more and more. And to me, people always bring up Reggie Miller, and you remember the 7-game series with the Pacers in '98. And I think if Mitch Richmond was in the East, people would have him. You guys know I've always brought up Mitch Richmond when we talk about guys that Jordan
had to go against. Yeah,
you had to go against in the individual matchups. I've always brought him up. Look up the man's 3-point shooting percentages. Why don't you? And these are. He was not on a team where he was getting wide open spot up. You know.
No.
He got some of that in Golden State with Hardaway, but especially in Sacramento, it was ball in hand, double, triple team. Mitch, can you please bail us out tonight? That's basically what it was.
Or every night.
Yeah. And the beauty of this is with iTunes, the RSS feed, this is going up on YouTube, this is going on the website, a lot of people are going to hear this. And a lot of people will have a lot more respect for Mitch Richmond when it's all said and done. I mean, here, let me pull up his production. Because it's off the chart stuff. Okay, he averaged over 20 points per game for 10 years. Multiple seasons over 23, one season at 25.9. In Sacramento, being double and triple teamed. That year, he shot 42.8% from three-point land.
Ooh, man.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
How many attempts did he shoot?
6 a game.
Oh, God, that's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
That's not even.
That
can't be right.
Well, that's proof right there that he was a deadly shooter.
Yeah,
that's sure.
Are you
Imagine
kidding
if
me?
he was open.
That's clear proof.
And he was heavily guarded. And that's the thing that I don't think people understand. And this is the Sacramento years. When he was in Sacramento, he's double and tripled on. I mean, he was getting double teamed on the perimeter. I couldn't imagine if he was on a good team his whole career what his shooting percentages would look like, because when he was a Golden State Warrior, second and third year in the league, shot 49.7% and 49.4%. Then he went to Sacramento,
Wow.
And he's getting swarmed by defenders because no one else was on that team. And you heard him. It was frustrating, you know.
Yeah.
You heard him.
I mean, for him to pull all that hard work in it, for it not to really pay off.
Well, he did get to dribble out the clock in that 2002 finals.
Yeah, I remember that.
The final game, Game 4, it was the sweep against the Nets. He dribbled out the last few seconds. And it was, for me, it was appropriate. Because the game wasn't in doubt. He came in. He was at the tail end of his career. Oh, wow. Elevator music there, Mike. Brian, can you hear us now?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Brian.
Vegas Mike.
I'm getting mad at my phone.
I got to switch my phone,
Brian,
man.
you got to talk to Mitch freaking Richmond, bro. What's there to be mad at tonight? All of us should just be happy. Everyone on the line, you had the opportunity tonight to speak with Mitch Richmond. You can tell all your friends, look, I got to talk to Mitch Richmond. Look, listen here at the whatever second mark. Where else could you do that? You know, I mean, could you imagine trying to call into a national sports talk radio show? They wouldn't. I had to make sure to get you guys a chance to give them a question. I knew I was kind of stretching it on time, but, I mean, we kept him for half an hour. That's a long time to keep a guest like that, but, you know, time is money. He's done scouting for the Golden State Warriors. You know, there's a rumor out there that he's going to end up being on the coaching staff at Kansas State. So I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up in television. You listen to the way he breaks down the game.
Yeah.
And that's how Penny Hardaway ended up getting his break into television, was by doing a podcast. Now,
Didn't you guys interview him? Because I saw the YouTube channel where I think it was two.
No, what happened with Penny was Joseph and Sean caught wind of him being on a show that really doesn't air very often, that Charles Oakley had been running. I don't know if he's even doing it anymore. So they called in to ask him those questions. I still have that audio. I need to put all the audio together because right now Sean, Joseph, and I, they got Penny Hardaway, and then I've got Brian Russell and Mitch Richmond talking about the era, which I think was a beautiful thing. You know, I mean, who better to go to than the guys who played in it? And I like how he brought up Thunder Dan, because I think Thunder Dan Marley gets a bad rap as especially a defender for obvious reasons. Anyone want to guess what those are? Thunder Dan Marley, any guesses?
Cheap shots.
Could it be his ethnicity?
Oh.
By some of the fans of today, that he's
okay.
He's a white guy, you know. I mean,
he would be a good defender.
Thunder Dan was a very good defender. I think it was in '92 or '93. I should check that out.
That's what they say.
Thunder Dan was second-team All-NBA defense. Think about the defenders in the early '90s. Come on now, you're beating out Clyde Drexler.
No way.
Hello, that's how good he was. He was a very good defender, and what did Jordan average on that team in the '93 finals? 41 points per game, that's all. Against an all-NBA team defender and that defense. Barkley waiting down there.
A real NBA team defender.
Yeah, and they tried him on him. They tried Richard Dumas. They tried KJ. I mean, they tried everyone. So if you're just tuning in, you guys missed the Mitch Richmond interview. And
shame on you. No,
well, you know what, though? It's going to be available everywhere. I'm going to put it up on the website. You can listen to it in the archives. And I'm going to put it up on YouTube eventually, RSS feed, iTunes, everywhere. And then it'll be nice because it'll promote his product and his Twitter account. So, that, I mean, hey, he helped us out. I'm helping him out. That's the way we do it here. I I think we threw people off with the early start time, so when people start piling into the chat room here in about 5 minutes, chat room, you can go nah. I got to listen to it live, but no, it's worth the wait. Ask anyone in the chat room. Ben in the chat room, who I play on NBA 2K12, says